Ayo masuk.
Udah belum? Ini kalian main Uno gitu.
Iya, kita mau pesan ini dulu ya.
Ini aja.
Buka dulu, habis dia buka baru kita pakai pesan.
Nggak bisa ini WA di sini sama kan bisa dilihat di sini.
Tristan udah direkord itu.
Apa udah?
Ayo.
Lah udah direkam apa belum?
Udah.
Yo, biasa aja. Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Here I am. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Zaki Cesar Tristan as a moderator today, and we would like to present the result of the topics that we discussed for today's seminar. So I would like to tell you guys that for all the participants to kindly open the camera and kindly listening this all of these topics. So I'm about to read this list
The order of the topics.
list of the topics. So the first topic is anesthesia drug colors labels. The second one is spinal anesthesia for infants less than 1.5 years. Third, the role of artificial intelligence AI in modern anesthesiology. The fourth, management in cases of peripartum cardiomyopathy (PPCM). And the fifth is performing spinal anesthesia on a baby. So let's move on to the first group. For the first group, they would like to present topics is anesthesia drug color labels. So for the first theme, screen and time is yours.
Thank you for your time. Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for me here today. My name is Wahyuni Fatima Zahra and my team is Dimas and Fira. I am here to talk about anesthesia color label. Because the topic of color coding for anesthesia drug label, because it is crucial to improving patient safety and letting mohon di sebelumnya Mas. Because the topic of color coding for anesthesia drug label, because it is critical to improving patient safety and guaranteeing the medication is administered correctly. Next. Differentiating the color of participation label in the context of anesthesia can greatly lower the chance of drug errors, which is important in high-risk settings like the operating room, particularly when there is an emergency and speed is of the essence. The next material will be read by Dimas.
Okay. Color coding can help healthcare nurses communicate better with each other and be safer when nurses, anesthesiologists, and other medical staff can identify medication through color-coded labels. Investors a more cooperative work environment where everyone cares for the same painting. Therefore, although color coding helps, it must be accompanied by clear text and symbol to ensure that everyone can accurately understand the labels.
Okay, next, the importance of the color coding of medicine on this site is that it plays a vital role in the healthcare sector, especially in anesthesiology, where the identification of medicine is vital for patient safety. Next, in conclusion, the use of color coding for anesthesia medication is a multi-fact approach that improves safety, communication, and efficiency and reduces the risk of medication error.
Oke, thank you for your time. Saya kembalikan ke moderator.
All right, thank you for the amazing presentation for the first tip. And let's move on to the second team. The topic is spinal anesthesia for infants less than 1.5 years. For the second team or the second group, um, screen and time is yours.
Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nora Friza Sabira and our group is Selvi Amalia Esgafur and Pepdina Hirunisa. We are from Class A Anesthesi. Here we will present the rest of our group on the topic. What topics? Spinal anesthesia for infants less than 1.5 years. This topic discussion the safety and effectiveness of spinal anesthesia for infants less than 1.5 years of age in infraumbilical procedure. The focus is on how this technique is a safer alternative to general anesthesia. Point 2. Reason or purpose. This topic was chosen because spinal anesthesia is considered safer for infants who have special anatomy and are susceptible to complications of general anesthesia, such as respiration distress, cardiac distress, and slow recovery. This technique also avoids high-risk intubation and lungs manipulative in infants.
Next is key idea. The key idea is spinal anesthesia is recommended for infants under 1.5 years of age because of its safety, effectiveness, and lower risk of complication compared to general anesthesia. Next number 1, reduce the risk of general anesthesia complication, airway obstruction, allergic reaction, and hypothermia. Number 2, reduce dangerous cardiovascular change in the baby. 3. Avoids intubation and lung manipulation. 4. Provides faster recovery and fewer perioperative medication. And the last is, high risk of failure can be reduced by an experienced medical team.
Next, urgency. This topic is important to discuss now because the global trend is moving towards severe anesthesia for babies. In education, the increasing number of infant surgeries in driving the need for effective and risk minimizing anesthesia techniques.
All right. Thank you for the amazing and wonderful presentation. So let's move on to the third group. The topic is the role of artificial intelligence AI in modern anesthesiology. So for the next group, screen and time, all yours.
Thank you, Tristan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to presentations on the use of AI in modern anesthesiology practice. My name is Evan Reza Adiani, and my group partner Nia Safirakum and Sapitri Umasugi, and I will be your moderator for these sessions. We are very excited to explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping the field of anesthesiology from decision-making support and monitoring to predictive analytics and patient safety and judgment. Okay. The use of AI in modern anesthesiology practice focus on automatic monitoring system, patient risk predictions algorithm, and clinical decision support system or CDSS. Okay, the next slide will be read by Nia. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Why did we choose this topic? Because AI technology is rapidly advancing in the medical world. Anesthesia is a field that relies heavily on real-time data. As aspiring medical professional, it is important to understand the role of AI in the future of clinical practice. And the next slide, please. And the main focus of my presentation and what specifically aspect I want to cover is AI is revolutionizing anesthesiology by improving decision making, accuracy, procedure efficiency, and patient safety. And the next slide will be presented by my partner.
Okay. The key points: AI is revolutionizing anesthesiology by significantly improving clinical decisions making, work efficiency, and patient. One, applications of AI in anesthesia, automated hemodynamic monitoring, complication risk predictions, drug dose recommendations. So, example of a system, closed loop anesthesia delivery system, or CLADS, predictive algorithm for hypoxia or hypotension. 3. Benefits faster, more precise, less human error. 4. Challenges, data limitations, cost integrations with hospital systems, and ethics of AI use. The next slide. Urgency, why is it important now? AI technology is already being used in major hospitals around the world. The development of digital health after the pandemic, the need for efficiency and patient safety is increasing. Okay, the presentation is finished. Thank you all for your participation. We hope today's sessions has provided valuable insight into how AI is revolutionizing anesthesiology practice. Let's continue to stay informed and open to innovations that can enhance patient care and clinical outcomes. Have a great day and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Eva, for the amazing presentation. So let's move on to the fourth group. The topic is management in cases of peripartum cardiomyopathy (PPCM). For the next group or the fourth group, uh, screen and time is all yours.
We will present material with the topic Anesthesia Management Cases of Peripartum Cardiotherapy (PVCM). Our group, Ahmad Safari Hidayat and Azhar Mufaddal Rojan and Fata Zikrillah. The first material will be present by my friend Rojan.
Introduction to PPCM. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and today I'm going to open the discussion on anesthesia management in case of peripartum cardiomyopathy or PPCM for short. PPCM is a form of heart failure that occurs in late pregnancy or several months after delivery. This condition is characterized by decreased heart function, especially the left ventricle, which causes the heart to be unable to pump blood optimally. Symptoms include shortness of breath, fatigue, led edema, and examination and exclusion of other cause of heart failure. BPCM is a serious condition with a high mortality rate. Therefore, if the patient requires anesthesia, the approach must be very careful.
Thank you. The second material was delivered by myself. Silence in anesthesia for PVCM patients. Thank you. I'm Ahmad Safari Hidayat, and I will discuss the challenge of anesthesia in the patients with PVCM. In patients with PVCM, the slight cardiac function makes them highly susceptible to change in blood pressure and blood volume. General anesthesia can lead to partner description of cardiac function, while region anesthesia such as spinal can lead to sudden hypotension. This is why anesthesia technique in PVCM patients cannot be general. In addition, during surgery, hemodynamic monitoring is crucial. Blood and management must I'll be very careful too. Much can aggravate health failure. Too little can discredit the supervised. Choose anesthesia. These patients need a individualist approach and multiple collaboration. And the third material will be delivered by my friend Pata.
Anesthesia Management Strategy. Thank you, Ahmad Safarid Hidayat. I'm Fata, and I'm going to discuss the recommend anesthesia strategies in PPCM. Case the safe approach is general anesthetic epidural as is allow for more stable fluid pressure control of aware if the pinch is unstable. General anesthesia can be considered of course with close monitoring. Medication such as vaporizor and inotropes should be paired as well as insertion of an arterial catheter of or CVP when accessible if the hospital have intraoperative and score cardiotherapy. It also is helpful observation of the risk of further air failure in Asian. Anesthesia management in PPCM depends in a combination of causing the right anesthesia technique, dentist monitoring, and medical teamwork. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention and time to all my friend. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you to all of my friends and for the amazing presentation. So let's move on to the next and the last group. And for the last group, they will about to present performing spinal anesthesia on a baby. So for the next group, time and screen is all yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, good morning everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Majid Nurrahman Amrin and my team is Elma Dwi Safitri and Tristan M. Zaki Caesareo Tristan. We will present to you about performing spinal anesthesia on a baby. First, the background will be read by Elma.
Okay, thank you, Majid. The background: walking the baby during surgery is usually not done because the baby is given anesthesia to prevent pain and movement. However, there is concern about the neurotoxic effect of general anesthesia on the developing baby's brain, which has sparked interest in spinal anesthesia as an alternative.
Okay, next, spinal anesthesia in infants. Spinal anesthesia is a local anesthetic technique used primarily for infraumbilical procedure in infants and toddlers up to about 18 months of age. Advantage include a lower risk of neurotoxicity than general anesthesia, greater hemodynamic stability, and avoidance of risky intubation and airway manipulation in infants. Complications of spinal anesthesia are relatively low, but there is a high failure rate, especially when performed by inexperienced personnel. And the duration of spinal anesthesia is limited, usually less than 90 minutes, making it unsuitable for long procedure. Infants who receive spinal anesthesia tend to require fewer perioperative medication and have a quicker recovery. However, spinal anesthesia is not suitable for all cases, especially laparoscopic procedure or if the infant is restless and require additional sedation, which also carries risk. Next will be read by M. Zaki Chasari Tristan.
Thank you, Majid, for the honors. Uh, General anesthesia and neurotoxicity. Animal studies suggest general anesthesia can cause brain damage and learning disabilities, but clinical studies in children have been mixed. The FDA warns against repeated or prolonged use of general anesthesia in children younger than 3 years due to the theoretical risk of neurotoxicity. Large studies such as GAS and MASK have shown no significant difference in neurodevelopmental outcomes after single and brief exposure to general anesthesia. Conclusion: spinal anesthesia is safe and effective alternative for infants in certain short duration procedures, reducing the risk of neurotoxicity and complication of general anesthesia. However, spinal anesthesia has technical and duration limitation, as well as a higher failure rate, and is not always the first choice. There's no strong evidence that spinal anesthesia is superior to general anesthesia in terms of neurodevelopmental outcomes. The choice of anesthesia should be tailored to the patient condition, the type of procedures, and the expertise of the medical team. Thank you. I will give back to the Majid Rahman for to the Majid Rahman. Your
Okay,
time,
thank you.
time is yours.
Thank you, Tristan. I think that's all for our present. Thank you for your participation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
All right, everyone. Thank you for all the attention and thank you for the participant and amazing presentation today. I'm Mzaki Satrisan as a moderator in here. Thank you very much for all of the participants and all of you guys that kindly participate this seminar. Thank you very much. Uh, Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Udah Cuki.